Greetings, everybody. This is Wesley Pepper. This is the Lexcia podcast. This is episode 124. And yeah, as you can tell, it's a bit warmer here for us today. We're sitting through a lovely heat wave. If you're in the southern hemisphere, yeah, personally, I don't mind it. Just before I get into my guest today, remember you can you can find us on YouTube. You know, that's a channel's page. So check us out there. And then please don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment to this channel. And just based on my guest on episode 123 with what sorts of gestures, much love. Like, I really enjoyed having them here in the studio. I just had to say that again. And I'm such a huge fan of the publishing house. And and just remember, Season 4's book, Grand Malume, is out. She's a dear sister to this platform, and I'll be adding the details to her book, like where you can get it and so forth, in the description. In fact, of all the episodes I'm gonna do, moving forward. So that's regarding that. But hey, today I've got a very cool guest from Vancouver, Canada. We're talking to Adewale Sobowale. He's the owner and the publisher, and I guess contributor to the Migrant Online Magazine. Very, very exciting publication. I've been going through it quite a bit this week, so a whole bunch of cool stuff to get into. But before we do all of that, my brother, how are you this morning? It's evening your side, sorry. How are you this evening?
Oh, I'm fine. It's early morning anyway, and it's early morning.
Early morning.
Oh yeah.
So my thing is swapped. Okay, man. So can we start at the beginning? Can you tell us about Migrant Online? Firstly, like, how was it founded? And what sort of forces or what led to you conceptualizing and then starting the publication? We'll start from the magazine part, and then we'll start from there.
You asked a very interesting question there. Interesting because I did not conceptualize it anyway. It was conceptualized by a friend of mine, and it started as the Migrant Online. But somewhere along the line, we parted ways. So I had to start the Migrant Online. And I started back in, I think, year 2001.
Okay.
I think October so.
Okay. So can you tell us a little bit about? 2001 was a while back. Over 20 years.
Oh, sorry, 2021, brother.
Oh, 2021. Oh. Yeah, big difference. Because I was gonna ask like 2001. So like, anyway, there was a bunch of things I could have asked about that. Okay. So can you tell us a little bit about the magazine? So what does it focus on? Because I've from what I can from what I picked up, you do a lot of current affairs and the things around the migrant issue across the diaspora. I see you've also got a tab for creative writing, blogging, opinion pieces and so forth. But can you just tell us a little bit about that?
I'll answer that. I believe we are all migrants in this world, in the sense that we don't have any reason to believe that we cannot die. That means we are only here for a brief period. But the magazine itself, or the journal, could be said to be for people who are going from one country to the other, right? Especially for no reasons of their own, right? Maybe because of war, because of drought, because of flooding and all those things. Because of uprising, natural disasters and so on, And I believe that African countries have not been able to manage all these events so well. At least not as good as the Western countries, because I know that natural events or disasters occur there, but then they still try to manage all those things.
Okay.
Then we also delve into issues that might cause migration.
Okay. Issues like?
Like unrest, like maybe governments staying for too long, all those things, and so on.
What do you think? Let me ask you on that. What do you think is the most common denominator behind most migrants? And where do you think, from an African perspective, where do you think most of them are going to? What part of the West? Because in South Africa, a lot of people who leave here either go to Canada, to Australia, to New Zealand, or to the UK.
You see, I believe the West Africans, especially Nigerians, Ghanaians, will go to the countries very close to the Mediterranean, Italy, Spain, and so on. But you see, possibly, I don't know, possibly they will be having problems speaking Spanish. I don't know of Italian, but then, from it to France and all those things,
Okay. So let's get back to the magazine. So I can understand. Just a point of reference. I know that the migrant crisis is a big deal in Europe, especially now in the UK, especially right now. I see you published that piece with the minister of this and that, but it's an Indian lady with these real draconian like measures around, and I know in the US as well, even here in South Africa. Actually, that's a huge talking point in South Africa as well. Before we get there, I just want to bring it back to the type of content of the. So, how are the others? Is the contributors to the magazine migrants themselves, or are these just creative writers or writers from across the diaspora? And how are you selecting them? How are you? How do you select your contributors to the magazine?
May I have the question again?
Okay, so I was just trying to make a point that that the migrant problem is an issue across the globe. That there's migrants across the globe. So based off that, what I was going to ask you is that, like, with reference to the magazine, with your online magazine, how do you curate? How do you get contributors to the magazine? Is there a process involved in that? And let's just start with it.
Okay.
Did you get me?
Yeah. In the first instance, there is no process involved in writing for the magazine. Okay. Possibly the process is just contacting me.
Oh, okay.
I mean, once you contact me, you can write for the magazine. I mean, but then you mentioned the migrant crisis and all those things. possibly, I've noticed that it's when the conservatives are in power that they will seek to be curtailing migrants. And, okay, like in Italy, I think early this year, we had it that some rescue ships were being stopped from going to rescue maybe migrants from 2 or more vessels. They were to rescue migrants from just one vessel, even if they had enough space. By crying out loud, I mean, when it's a matter of point and death, we need all the help we can get.
Yeah.
Okay, like the one in the UK. In fact, the UK one is even kind of unspeakable.
It is.
In the sense that,
I agree.
It's unspeakable in the sense that, I mean, the way is doing it. In fact, okay, like I think last week he said the gays may not be qualified to be described as to gain asylum.
I read that.
It's not hard of.
Why do you think the Western, let me ask you this question. Why do you think or rather do you think that the migrant crisis is manufactured, and who do you think benefits? Because it's like a form of slavery, if you ask me. You cause a problem in one country so you can get people to another one so you can exploit their labor and talent.
I love that question. One thing is that when we look at I'm dealing with Africa now.
Yeah.
When we look at African nations, I think the average African nation has been independent for half a century. That's 50 years. Okay, we can talk of colonialism, we can talk of slavery and whatever. But then, how are the African leaders ruling the countries? But then, I still put the blame on the citizens. Because you see, there is no leader that will emerge out of the blue moon. Okay. The leader will emerge from the citizenry. So I quite like the quote by one philosopher that says if people deserve the leaders,
that they get,
because you see, it's okay. For instance, in some countries of the world, migrants are well received and so on. In other countries, migrants are not well received. But the thing is, now, if the people put the right people in power, I think the migrant situation will be better managed.
I agree. Yeah. So, like I was saying, it's in South Africa. It's a big political hot potato. We have elections coming. Sorry, we have elections coming up next year. And the whole migrant issue is politicized to death, and it's used as a political weapon. And personally, as a Pan-Africanist and as an artist, I've got a major concern with that, because I find it no different than 200 years ago. Oh, I just got a notification here.
Yeah. I want to record.
Oh
I
yeah,
don't.
yeah. I just sorry, man. I was just saying here in South Africa that it's a
Okay.
political hot potato that it's being used. Basically, what they are doing is they're putting poor black people against other poor black people and blaming one group, blaming finger at the other group and vice versa. And we have I don't even know where to start the type of conflict and racism that comes out of that, and all the other shit that's attached to that. So it's a real, as I said, it's a real touchy issue locally. I actually haven't spoken much about it on this platform. But just what's your take on that? What's your take on countries politicizing migrant crisis and putting poor people against other poor people, and then having them blame each other while the capitalists are, well, let's just leave it there. What's your take on that?
Personally, I think the issue of migrants is now a political issue that some political parties even use the issue to campaign. That okay, if I get elected into power, I will deal with migrants. If I get
Yeah,
elected to power, I mean, it's not it's not fair. It is, and in any case, let's go uh, to the human rights program of the United Nations.
mm-hmm.
What the European countries are doing, is it according to the human rights guidelines
Yeah,
of the
good
UN?
question.
By the way, UN itself should be blamed. It should be blamed too. But then, uh, when we look at human rights, it is a God-given right. So you don't even need anybody to tell you that okay, you must give human rights to this person. You must give human rights. No,
Yeah,
you should know.
you should know it inherently. You should know it. I agree.
And by the way, when Europeans were coming to Africa to cut us away as slaves or whatever, they didn't see any reason. But then, when Africans are now in need, possibly through to faults of their own, but then they are still in need, right? And they are going, you're praying that to come.
Okay.
So I see a discrepancy.
Yeah, and I always find that in people are making money off of it and lots of it, and that's very evil, lack of a better phrase. Yeah, they're making buckets and buckets of money off of it, and things are just getting worse. And just the last point on the politicizing of migrant, I'm supposed labor, or exploiting them, is that it's from a from an African perspective, it is
Okay,
driving a wedge between our countries, and
okay.
it's
I forgot. I'm sorry. I forgot to answer your question on exploitation and all those things, or maybe on modern
no.
slavery.
You can you
No,
can you can
no,
you can answer.
no, no. One thing is that possibly because I'm a migrant too, right? I wouldn't think it's modern slavery. Not modern slavery in the sense that you are going, okay, in my own case, I came willingly. Now, in some cases, people maybe who have been besieged by wars, by flooding, by droughts and so on, who have no choice
Yeah.
but to seek for places of succor, right? And I believe is the duty of everybody in the world to look after the next person. That's okay. And we can talk of Ubuntu.
Yeah.
You know that?
Yeah.
So
yeah, I'm you through you. Yeah, that's also a principle that that I personally follow. Yeah, I definitely do. My brother, just to move it back to your magazine and going through it, you say you guys were around since 2001. I just want to sort of ask you like a tech related question.
2021.
Sorry, sorry, 20. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, 21. My bad.
No.
I just want to sort of ask you a tech-related question, and it sort of ties into what we were saying. You know that we're now living in a fourth industrial revolution, and one of the things I find really prudent, really, it's basically how society is run these days. Is that online you can manipulate a lot of things, including information, and you can if you have a following, you can sort of over time manipulate how they think of various things, what political party, and so forth and so forth. So yeah, just from your perspective, from the Migrant Online, do you guys have a certain agenda? If so, what so and like moving forward, how else or what other platforms are you guys available on? How else can people get hold of you? So just to summarize, what I was saying again is like, having this mass of content, talking about something which is really relevant and really a necessary conversation, talking about the migrant crisis across the globe. How are you guys using that influence? And yeah, like on what platforms, and how else can listeners and so forth get hold of you and so forth?
Let me just talk about the social media.
Yeah.
I believe the social media is getting to become a worse form of jungle justice.
Interesting.
Because you see, people can come and defame others if they have a good following, and many people are easily impressionable.
Oh yeah.
Then some will come and just maybe if you are using Facebook or whatever, they will be silent and they'll be reading whatever you read, whatever you put on your wall, assimilating the information. If they want to strike, they will strike. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So so you see that's what made me believe that it's getting to become a worse form of jungle justice. But then, be that as it may, even as far as I'm concerned, all this Yahoo and whatever, the positive uses of the internet are much more than the negative ones.
Yeah.
It's only that if you have patience, right, you gain the positive results. But many of the children of these days, they want to catch glory quickly. So that's where the problem lies.
Yeah, and like moving forward with Migrant Online, like, are you guys gonna be solely, a web-based platform? Are you perhaps going to convert this, or rather migrate to an app? And how else can you just and on what else can, if you sort of marketing the magazine, can you what other features can people look forward to, articles and so forth, and that type
Okay,
of thing?
for now, we can be seen on Instagram. You can be seen on Twitter, and so on. But I think we are in a state of consolidation. And I think very soon I will spread out.
Okay.
Having a television station is not far from what we're planning. Having a radio station is not far from what we are planning. And by the way, you even said your opening statement. You said it belonged to me. Now I think it belongs to the migrants. So we want them to come and have their say.
Interesting.
Normally people believe that migrants are bad, migrants are this, migrants are that. I will refer to the UK Home Secretary again. I think yesterday or day before, she said that she loves multiculturalism, but many migrants are not living the British way of life. Many of them stay within their cocoon. But you see, now the European way of life, right? Is so inclusive. You understand? It's so inclusive. I mean, okay, like we live in apartments and all those things. If you walk along the street and you greet other people, okay, in this country, it's even better. They will greet back and all those things. But I guess it's not like that in other countries. You understand? So and by the way, if you are a migrant, the first people you will see will be your own people, who you can even ask, who you can easily ask for help.
Yeah.
So I see no point in what she said.
Neither do I, and I find it ironic that she looks like she's from Indian descent. So the hypocrisy there is just over my head. And unfortunately, I've noticed that amongst too many leaders these days. And just like a closing point on that, I've noticed that across Europe, there's a real shift to the alt right. If you look at Italy, for example, even if you look at France, and don't forget your neighbors, the US. It's actually quite concerning times. That's why I find platforms like yours, where you can destigmatize, who migrants are, what they are about, and talk about it, is a very, very, very necessary platform. And I think it's just really necessary. Necessary. Sorry. But my brother Adewale, thank you very much for coming through, my king. Just to my listeners, you can get his platform on the Migrant Online. I will also leave I'll leave the description in the blurb. To all my new and returning listeners, please smash that like and subscribe button and help the YouTube algorithm pick it up, and all of that. And my brother, just in closing, thank you for coming through and telling us about your magazine.
It froze somewhere there, so
I was just saying thank you very much for coming through, man, and sharing your talking about the Migrant Online.
Okay, thank you so much. You're welcome.
Just how else can my listeners get hold of you? Or is all your details on the website?
Oh, okay. The MigrantOnline.com.
Okay. Okay.
The MigrantOnline.com.
All right. Well, there you have it. Like, I highly recommend this platform, everybody. Thank you, my brother. Thank you for coming through. Enjoy the rest of your day. And to my listeners, don't forget to smash that like and subscribe button. We also got a lot of cool things coming up. A lot of cool interviews with some very cool writers and poets and so forth. Look forward to that. And I'll catch you next week. One love, my king.